When we talk about designing the next 10 years of our lives, most people think about goals, achievements, money, or titles. But designing a life is not about chasing external markers. It is about creating alignment between who you are, what you value, and where you want to go. Think about it this way. If your life were a house, would you rather keep decorating the walls, or would you want to strengthen the foundation? The next decade isn't something that will happen to you. It's something you are capable of designing deliberately. The first step in designing the future is clarity. Too often, we are busy responding to life rather than leading it. Clarity means asking yourself, what do I actually want to feel and experience 10 years from now? Not just what I want to have, but who I want to become. The danger in skipping this step is that we end up climbing a ladder for years, only to realize it was leaning against the wrong wall. Clarity doesn't come from daydreaming. It comes from honest reflection, from asking yourself difficult questions and being courageous enough to answer them. The second step is to create direction, not just goals. Goals are fixed points. They are helpful, but they can also be limiting. Direction is a compass. It allows you to adapt when life changes, but still keep moving toward your vision. 10 years is too long to predict with precision, but it's the perfect time frame to commit to a path. If you know you want to design a life built on contribution, growth, and freedom, your direction will shape the choices you make every day. The third step is systems. We underestimate the power of consistent habits. Designing a decade is not about one big leap. It is about thousands of small, intentional steps. If you want to be healthy in 10 years, you cannot rely on a sudden transformation in year 9. You build it through consistent choices, what you eat, how you move, how you rest. If you want strong relationships, you don't suddenly create them in the last month of the decade. You invest daily in listening, in showing up, in kindness. Systems are what keep your vision alive. The fourth step is resilience. No 10-year journey will be smooth. There will be failures, setbacks, and seasons of doubt. Resilience is not about avoiding hardship. It is about using hardship as a teacher. Every time you fall and get back up, you are not just moving forward, you are becoming stronger, wiser, more capable of handling the future. A decade designed without resilience in mind is a fantasy. A decade designed with resilience is a reality. And finally, the fifth step is service. The most fulfilling 10-year plan is never just about you. If your vision only serves yourself, you will find it empty. But if your life contributes to others through your work, your presence, your influence, then your success multiplies. True design of a meaningful life involves lifting others as you rise. It is about leaving a mark that outlives the timeline you set. So when you think about the next 10 years, don't just think about milestones. Think about alignment, direction, habits, resilience, and service. Because designing the next decade is not about what you will have at the end. It is about who you will become in the process. 5 keynotes of the speech: clarity is the foundation of the next 10 years. Define who you want to become, not just what you want to achieve. Direction is more powerful than fixed goals. Set a compass that guides your choices and adapts to change. Systems and habits shape your future. Small, consistent actions build the decade you envision. Resilience turns setbacks into strength. Design a life that expects and grows from challenges. A meaningful future includes service. True fulfillment comes when your vision uplifts others. Clarity is the foundation of the next 10 years. And it is far more than knowing what you want to achieve. Most people confuse goals with clarity. Goals are simply targets. Clarity is understanding who you want to become, what you truly value, and what kind of life you are willing to live to get there. Without clarity, all your actions risk being random, reactive, or influenced by the expectations of others. You may end up chasing someone else's version of success while your own life quietly drifts away. The first step toward designing your decade is to pause and reflect honestly. Who are you at your core? And what kind of life resonates deeply with your values and passions? This is not a casual question. It demands honesty and courage because often the answers are uncomfortable. You may discover that parts of your current life do not align with who you really want to be, and change is never easy. Yet clarity requires you to confront these truths and make deliberate choices, not because they are convenient or safe, but because they are aligned with the life you want to design. Clarity also means distinguishing between external markers of success and internal fulfillment. Many people spend years climbing ladders built by society, family, or peers, only to realize that when they reach the top, it does not feel like achievement at all. They may have wealth, recognition, or a title, but a lack of alignment with their deeper values leaves them empty. The 10-year design is not about accumulating accolades. It is about understanding what truly matters to you, what makes you feel alive, and what legacy you want to leave. When your decisions are grounded in this understanding, every choice you make has purpose and direction. You begin to see life as a series of intentional moves rather than a series of reactive responses. Finding clarity often involves asking yourself probing questions and listening carefully to your own answers. Questions like, what would I do if I knew I could not fail? Or what makes me lose track of time because I am so engaged? Or even, what values am I unwilling to compromise, no matter the reward? These questions help uncover the core desires that drive your sense of purpose. The answers are rarely obvious at first. They emerge gradually through reflection, experimentation, and honest conversation with yourself. Clarity also comes from understanding what you do not want. Knowing what to avoid is as important as knowing what to pursue because it prevents your life from being derailed by distractions, pressures, or societal expectations that do not align with your values. It is important to understand that clarity is not a one-time achievement. It is a continuous process. As you evolve, your understanding of who you are and what you value may shift. Designing your decade requires revisiting your clarity regularly and allowing it to guide adjustments in your direction, habits, and decisions. The more you internalize your clarity, the easier it becomes to make decisions quickly and confidently because you have an internal compass that points you toward your authentic self. Life's choices become simpler, not because there are fewer options, but because the options that matter are filtered through the lens of who you want to become. Finally, clarity is the foundation upon which every other step of designing your life depends. Without it, even the best plans, systems, and strategies can lead you astray. With it, you gain a lens through which to view every opportunity, every challenge, and every decision. You no longer measure your life against external definitions of success, but against the life you intentionally design. Clarity creates alignment between your actions and your values, between your present choices and your future vision. It transforms uncertainty into possibility, confusion into confidence, and intention into results. Designing your next 10 years begins with a single critical step: knowing who you are, understanding what you value, and having the courage to live in alignment with that knowledge every single day. Direction is more powerful than fixed goals, and understanding this distinction can completely change the way you design your next 10 years. Goals are specific targets of promotion, a certain amount of money, a milestone, or a title. They are important, but they are snapshots in time, rigid points that can give focus, but can also constrain your growth. Direction, on the other hand, is a guiding compass. It provides a sense of movement and alignment, a clear pathway that allows you to navigate uncertainty and adjust to life's inevitable changes. When you think about the next decade, relying solely on fixed goals is risky. Life is unpredictable. Opportunities, setbacks, and unexpected events will occur, and if your vision depends entirely on reaching one specific goal, you may find yourself lost when circumstances shift. Direction offers flexibility. It gives you a framework for making decisions that consistently move you toward the life you envision without being derailed by obstacles or detours. Setting direction starts with understanding your core values and your vision for the future. It requires asking questions like, in the next 10 years, what kind of person do I want to be? And what principles will guide my choices even when life gets hard? Direction is not about knowing every step in advance. It is about having a North Star, a principle-based guide that informs your choices along the way. When you have direction, decisions become simpler. You can evaluate options based on whether they move you closer to your vision or pull you away from it. This approach transforms your life from reactive to proactive. You begin making choices deliberately rather than responding to pressures, trends, or the expectations of others. Another critical aspect of direction is its ability to keep you adaptable. Over 10 years, circumstances will change, and the path that seems clear today may no longer exist tomorrow. Fixed goals often make people rigid. They push you to stick to a plan even when it is no longer the best path. Direction, in contrast, provides freedom. You can adjust your methods, explore new opportunities, and pivot when necessary, all while remaining aligned with your long-term vision. This flexibility does not mean indecision or lack of commitment. It means intentional responsiveness. It allows you to embrace uncertainty as part of the journey, rather than seeing it as a threat. The person who has direction is not shaken by obstacles. They simply find a new route that still leads toward the same destination. Direction also emphasizes purpose over perfection. Many people become paralyzed by the need to have a detailed, perfect plan for the future. They spend years planning and refining only to take minimal action. But when you focus on direction, progress becomes the measure of success, not perfection. Every choice, every action, and every step is evaluated by whether it moves you closer to your overarching vision. You do not need to know every detail of your decade in advance. You only need a sense of orientation and a willingness to take consistent action toward the life you want to create. Finally, direction creates a sense of coherence and meaning across your life. Without direction, even achievements can feel hollow because they may not connect to a larger purpose. With direction, every decision, every effort, and every sacrifice becomes meaningful. You begin to see patterns in your growth, connections between actions, and alignment between your daily life and long-term vision. Direction becomes a filter for opportunities, a framework for resilience, and a source of clarity when life feels chaotic. It transforms the next 10 years from a vague passage of time into a deliberate, intentional journey toward the life you truly want to design. Systems and habits are the true architects of the next 10 years. While clarity and direction set the foundation and compass for your life, it is your daily routines, the small choices you make consistently, that actually build the reality you want to live in. Many people underestimate this. They think that a single breakthrough, a sudden opportunity, or a major decision will define their decade. But the truth is that the next 10 years are designed through repeated intentional actions. Systems are the framework within which these actions occur, and habits are the building blocks that sustain them. Without them, even the clearest vision and strongest direction can fall apart, because life does not move according to plans, it moves according to habits. To understand the power of systems, consider this: the choices you make each day accumulate into the person you become. 10 years of random, inconsistent actions rarely lead to meaningful outcomes, no matter how talented or motivated you are. On the other hand, 10 years of deliberate, structured habits compound into extraordinary results. Systems are not just about efficiency, they are about alignment. They are the mechanisms that ensure your daily behaviors reflect the life you intend to design. A system could be as simple as a morning routine that sets the tone for focus, energy, and intentionality, or as complex as a professional workflow that consistently produces growth and impact. Whatever form it takes, a system transforms abstract intentions into tangible actions that move you forward day after day. Habits are the heart of these systems. They are the repeated actions that over time define your character, skills, and capacity. The challenge is that most people rely on willpower or motivation alone, expecting themselves to do the right thing without a structure in place. Motivation is fleeting and willpower is limited. Habits, on the other hand, are automatic. They remove the friction between intention and action. By creating habits that align with your long-term vision, you make progress almost inevitable. If your goal is health in 10 years, your habits determine whether you achieve it. It is not a single diet or a temporary exercise program that matters. It is consistently choosing the foods, workouts, and rest that support your well-being. If your goal is knowledge or skill, it is the daily practice, the reading, and the learning routines that accumulate into mastery. The power of systems and habits lies not only in their cumulative effect, but also in their ability to create momentum. When you start small and win consistently, your confidence grows and your systems begin to reinforce themselves. One good habit leads to another. One small success leads to bigger achievements, and gradually the life you envision becomes inevitable. It is easy to dismiss small actions as insignificant, but over a decade, their impact is enormous. This is why designing the next 10 years requires meticulous attention to your daily choices. The big milestones will follow naturally when the systems are in place. Another important aspect is adaptability within systems. Life is unpredictable, and a rigid system that cannot bend will eventually break. Designing your habits and routines with flexibility allows you to maintain momentum even when circumstances change. For example, a system for personal growth might include reading daily, journaling, and connecting with mentors. If travel or work schedules disrupt one habit, the system is resilient enough to keep the other components intact, ensuring you continue progressing toward your vision. The key is consistency over perfection. Finally, systems and habits bridge the gap between intention and reality. You can have the clearest vision, the strongest direction, and the deepest understanding of your values, but without consistent action, your plans remain ideas. Systems transform vision into lived experience. They are the invisible scaffolding that shapes the architecture of your decade, turning abstract goals into measurable progress and making the design of your life less about chance and more about deliberate creation. By focusing on building effective systems and sustainable habits today, you lay the groundwork for the person you will become, the life you will live, and the impact you will have over the next 10 years. Resilience is the force that transforms challenges into stepping stones and uncertainty into growth. Designing the next 10 years of your life is not about avoiding failure or expecting smooth paths. It is about preparing yourself to navigate adversity while staying aligned with your vision. Many people believe that success comes from talent, luck, or even motivation, but the truth is that what separates those who achieve their decade-long vision from those who drift aimlessly is resilience, the ability to recover, adapt, and continue moving forward despite setbacks. Life will test you. There will be moments when doors close unexpectedly, when plans collapse, or when circumstances seem insurmountable. The difference between someone who sees these moments as the end of the road and someone who turns them into lessons lies entirely in resilience. Resilience is not a trait that you either have or don't have. It is a skill that is cultivated through experience, reflection, and intentional practice. Each time you face a challenge and choose to respond constructively rather than give up, you strengthen your capacity to handle the next obstacle. 10 years is a long journey, and over that time, resilience compounds just like habits do. The more you practice it, the more natural it becomes, until navigating difficulty is no longer an exception, but a standard part of your process. When you integrate resilience into your decade-long design, you shift your perspective from fearing failure to understanding it as a critical teacher. Every setback becomes an opportunity to learn, recalibrate, and grow stronger. A key component of resilience is emotional regulation, the ability to manage your responses in the moment of stress. Life will not always unfold according to plan, and your emotional reactions can either propel you forward or hold you back. Building resilience means learning to respond rather than react, to pause, reflect, and choose a path that aligns with your long-term vision instead of being controlled by immediate discomfort or fear. This practice allows you to maintain clarity of purpose even when circumstances seem chaotic. It also enables you to stay focused on your direction and systems, ensuring that a temporary obstacle does not derail years of consistent effort. Another essential aspect of resilience is adaptability. The ability to pivot, adjust, and find alternative paths is critical when life does not go as expected. The person with resilience does not see a closed door as the end of opportunity. They look for a window, a side path, or a new approach that still moves them toward their vision. In designing the next 10 years, flexibility combined with persistence ensures that setbacks do not become permanent detours, but are instead transformed into new avenues for growth. Resilient people embrace uncertainty because they understand that challenges are a natural part of the journey, not anomalies to avoid. Resilience also relies on building support systems. While internal strength is crucial, humans are inherently social beings, and leaning on mentors, peers, friends, or family during difficult seasons enhances your capacity to withstand challenges. Sharing struggles, seeking guidance, and learning from others' experiences not only accelerates growth, but also prevents isolation, which can weaken resolve. A resilient life is interconnected, strengthened by relationships that provide encouragement, accountability, and perspective during moments of doubt. Finally, resilience is what allows vision, direction, and habits to transform into a life that fulfills its potential. Without resilience, the inevitable hardships of a decade can erode clarity, diminish motivation, and disrupt systems. With resilience, obstacles become catalysts for learning, setbacks become opportunities to innovate, and adversity becomes a proving ground for the person you are becoming. The next 10 years will not be defined by the absence of difficulty, but by your ability to endure, adapt, and thrive despite it. Resilience ensures that you remain aligned with your long-term vision, even when the path is winding, uncertain, or steep. It is the silent engine that drives momentum, the unseen force that turns trials into triumphs, and the quality that separates a decade of wasted potential from a decade of deliberate, meaningful growth. Service is the principle that transforms personal success into meaningful impact. Designing the next 10 years of your life is not only about achieving personal goals, accumulating wealth, or reaching milestones. It is also about how your life affects others and contributes to something larger than yourself. Human beings have an innate desire to connect, to contribute, and to leave a legacy. And when this principle is integrated into your decade-long vision, it elevates your life from ordinary to extraordinary. Service does not necessarily mean grand gestures or large-scale projects. It begins with the simple, consistent choices to consider the well-being of others in your decisions, to add value wherever you can, and to act with empathy and intention. By embedding service into the framework of your next 10 years, you ensure that the success you achieve resonates beyond your personal sphere and creates a ripple effect that touches lives in ways you may never fully see. Service also provides purpose and direction. While clarity and habits guide your personal growth, service ensures that your journey is anchored in significance. Without it, achievements can feel hollow because they are disconnected from something greater than yourself. When you intentionally include others in your vision, your actions gain meaning and your resilience becomes stronger because the stakes are no longer only about you. They are about the people, communities, or causes that depend on your contribution. Service amplifies motivation. When you see that your work, your time, and your effort improve the lives of others, you naturally develop a sense of responsibility and urgency to show up consistently. It creates a cycle in which your growth fuels impact, and your impact fuels growth. Incorporating service into your decade requires deliberate attention to the ways in which you can give and influence positively. This could be in your personal relationships, your professional environment, or your community. Mentoring, sharing knowledge, supporting colleagues, volunteering, or even small acts of kindness all contribute to a life designed with service at its core. The key is consistency. Service is not an occasional activity. It is an ongoing mindset and habit that becomes part of your daily decisions. Every interaction becomes an opportunity to uplift, every challenge a chance to lead with compassion, and every success a moment to include others in the benefits you create. Service also reinforces humility and perspective. As you focus on the impact of your actions on others, you gain a broader understanding of the interconnectedness of life. You learn that personal achievements, while important, are not the ultimate measure of your value. The measure comes from how you elevate those around you, how you leave environments better than you found them, and how you influence others to grow alongside you. This mindset transforms the pursuit of success from a purely self-serving effort into a collaborative journey where your legacy is defined not just by what you accomplish, but by what you give and how you inspire others to achieve. Moreover, service enhances resilience and fulfillment. When life challenges you, knowing that your purpose involves lifting others provides perspective and strength. Difficulties become less about personal setbacks and more about lessons that prepare you to contribute more effectively. Service also multiplies the rewards of your success. The accomplishments you achieve, when shared or used to support others, have a lasting impact that goes far beyond what you could achieve alone. 10 years designed with service in mind is not only personally rewarding, but socially meaningful. It creates influence, builds trust, and leaves a tangible imprint on the world. Finally, service ensures that your decade is measured not just by what you achieve, but by the difference you make. A life focused solely on self-interest can create wealth, status, or recognition, but it rarely leaves a legacy that inspires or elevates others. By placing service at the center of your long-term vision, you design a life that matters, one that contributes to the growth, well-being, and empowerment of those around you. Service transforms your decade into a journey of impact, significance, and fulfillment, ensuring that the life you build is not only successful in your eyes, but meaningful in the eyes of the world. As we reflect on designing the next 10 years of our lives, it becomes clear that this journey is not about chance or circumstance. It is about intentionality. It begins with clarity, understanding who you truly are and what you value, which forms the foundation for every choice you make. From there, direction serves as your compass, guiding you through uncertainty and helping you navigate life with purpose rather than simply chasing fleeting goals. Systems and habits are the tools that turn vision into reality, ensuring that consistent, deliberate actions compound over time to create the life you imagine. Resilience empowers you to face challenges head on, transforming setbacks into lessons and obstacles into opportunities for growth. And service connects your personal journey to something greater than yourself, ensuring that the impact of your life extends far beyond your own achievements. When clarity, direction, systems, resilience, and service work together, they create a powerful synergy. Your actions become intentional, your choices aligned, and your journey meaningful. The next 10 years are not a distant horizon. They are the result of decisions you make today, repeated consistently with courage, adaptability, and purpose. This is your opportunity to design a decade that reflects your deepest values, stretches your potential, strengthens your character, and leaves a lasting impact on the world. So take a moment to envision the life you want 10 years from now. Imagine the person you will have become, the habits you will have cultivated, the challenges you will have overcome, and the lives you will have touched it. Then commit to living each day in alignment with that vision. Because designing the next 10 years is not about waiting for the future to happen. It is about deliberately creating it step by step, choice by choice, with intention and courage. The decade ahead is yours to design, and the time to start is now.